Well, hello, Dragon family. I hope you had a great weekend. We had the 4th of July extended long weekend here. Hot weather. I gotta say, I went off to the mountains where it was 92 and 10 degrees cooler than it was here in Reno. So crazy. We've got 103 degrees going here all week. So I thought, I'm going to stay inside, be cool, and I've got so many things to share. I'm going to go live today. So hello. It is Monday, the 8th of July, which means yesterday was the 7th, 7/7, which ended up being a special morning for me, and I'll explain that. I actually have quite a few things I want to share with you that went on over the weekend, and I'll just dive right in. So I got to go out. I've joined a group called the Reno Gem and Mineral Society. And if you're local, we're doing the Jackpot of Gems show here. They do it every year. I'm just more involved this year because I just joined and dove into being co-chair of the silent auctions. So that's happening in September here in Reno. If you're into rocks, minerals, gems, crystals, and you're in the area, it's September 14th and 15th. Anyway, they do monthly field trip digs. So like I shared that I got to go dig up Peterson Mountain last month. And this weekend, I didn't expect that I would get to go because it was about 7 hours away on the other side of Nevada. And things had to really come together for me to do that. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it. They went out to a beautiful place called Texas Springs looking for a pink chalcedony, which is a beautiful pink agate. The area's famous for their limb casts. And so I went out on Friday. And I dug Friday afternoon and all day Saturday. And I want to share because I just kept connecting with the land as I got there. And I was lost, saw some beautiful things, and just was like, all right, stop, hone into your intuition and go where it feels right. And of course, then I found the group because I came up a day late. Anyway, being out there in the mountains and I was 50 miles, is that right? No, 26 miles on dirt roads off grid, right? So if you break down, if you get stuck, if you're out of water, you can be in a world of hurt. So it was nice to go with a group. I didn't realize that and it should have made sense to me, that the site was in the shadow of a volcano. And so this beautiful volcano, I'm going to share a picture of the volcano with you rather than trying to post it in the pictures or in the feed as a comment, because then the people on YouTube won't be able to see it. So this was the volcano. And when I got there to start digging, I usually would tune into the spirit of the land and ask what they want to share with me. What am I there to find? What gifts do you want to share for me and exchange, whatever. So this was the volcano. And what was interesting and why I wanted to show that picture is because that whole area, the spirit of the area, like when I connected with Peterson Mountain and the spirit within that mountain was very different energetically. This was the spirit of the volcano, and it was like, whoa, this whole area is your thing. You're big. You're a big being. Really, really incredible. So I just sat and opened my heart and connected and spent that whole evening digging and the whole next day. And what you're looking for there is pink chalcedony. And I always also look for every trip I've been on, whether it's a dragon activation or camping with my kids. I know when I walked around the Tibet, the Kailash Kora with my group, I was finding Heartstones. I always look for and ask for a Heartstone so that I can remember the place. And I have a whole window of Heartstones. Like in Kailash, I actually found, there were 15 of us in the group, and I found 15 because I had about 8. And I told the spirits of the land, I said, look, if you're going to give me 8, you need to give me the whole 15 so that I can make an entire display of the entire group energy for this. And so sure enough, there was. And I also, from that one, was given a perfect diamond stone, diamond shaped. It says slate stone, but it's in the perfect shape of a diamond. So it's in the middle of that whole display of Heartstones. Anyway, so I was asking for Heartstones, if nothing else, hoping to find pink chalcedony, and I found a lot of red and brown and orange agate limb casts, but not the pink until later. But what I did find, and I had to start laughing because this was, I believe, the first day. And so that evening when I was done digging and I was ready to go back to my car, I turned around and there was this stone, and I started laughing because I had asked for a Heartstone, and this was quite literally the biggest one I've ever been given. Is this incredible? So it's just rock. It's volcanic rock. But this is going at my front door of my house to display and welcome everyone with this big, huge hug, because this is what the spirit of the mountain said. I'm a big bean. I'm going to give you a big heart. So I love that. And then on the last evening, the very last hours of my digging, and I was exhausted. I'll tell you what, guys, 92 degrees, not a lot of shade. I tried to keep finding areas to dig in and around the trees in the shade. I had one area that was known for pink, and I was like, okay, that's full sun. I literally set up my umbrella, and within about 45 minutes, the wind came and flipped it inside out. Big, huge sport umbrella, like the expensive ones, flipped it inside out, so it's in the trash. And I was like, because I couldn't keep digging there, and I feel like it was actually the universe saying, all right, because you're not going to, you should like stop digging here. You need to go to this other site. So right when that happened, someone else was going up, who's the partner, the leader of the trip, was going to try a different area. So we went over there. And so walking around, my other gift that second evening, which was I was done digging. This is the pink chalcedony that you're looking for. It's a beautiful pink agate that's just the lightest color pink. And look, it's a perfect heart also. So I have my big heart and my little pink heart. Very excited about that. And this is actually what the pink chalcedony looks like. It's better when it'll be better when it's polished and really shows up, but you can see the pink in there. And let me show you a photo, and then you'll be able to see all of the pink. Okay, so this is better in the sunlight. So these are all the pieces that literally with in the last 40 minutes of digging, and I dug from 7 in the morning until 7 at night. Really went after it and was gifted from the volcano after everybody else had left the hill. I stayed late because I knew I was going to get up in the morning and leave. So that was my special gift. I just love this one in the middle. Was actually on the surface walking around. Really beautiful pink, and it's got the limb cast on the backside. So that's the thing that's unique about seeing these. There, you can tell that they were twigs. Just love these. So what is that? And why am I sharing it on a dragon tribe, right? With my dragon tribe. Well, that pink chalcedony, as you guys who are into stones and crystals know, is a heart vibration. It's a very soft frequency. It's very much about opening the heart. We've been working, last week we talked about the high heart, the magenta dragon, and the tangerine, the high solar plexus, sun chakra dragon. And so moving into this opportunity to go and have these stones and be on a mountain that is literally covered with them underground, right? Like if I could see the whole mountain without the layer on top that showed them all, boy, it'd be incredible to see how much is vibrating in that space. So getting to connect with the spirit of the mountain, given this beautiful heart, giant one and small one, of this beautiful precious stone that this being created. That led to, on the morning, so the stars were absolutely amazing, and I was up at about 3:30 in the morning and knew that I was going to anchor the new quantum flight program. And I thought, okay, this is the perfect time. So I sat, and as I always do with the quantum flight, I go into the sphere and I connect with specific beings in that. I've described them before, but I'm just going to go with basics here. And those that dive into the quantum flight program, I'll give the whole full story to, because it's got a lot of really specific pieces for where the work is going. But needless to say, sitting in that sphere and sending the heart pulse out from a land that is loaded with this heart pulse. It felt so right and aligned that I was there doing that on July 7th. So on the 7/7 is when this quantum flight group was anchored. And it had a very specific new alignment. And the words that came, if you guys remember me talking last year was completion. Last year was the completion group. And I literally thought that's the last quantum flight group I'll be doing. Really surprised, really like, okay, well then what's next? And so I had the inspiration in the spring or late winter to do the Entering the Dragon Realms course, which was amazing group of people. And most of them might now be ready to go into this new quantum flight. We'll see if they're called to it. But this is the first time I've had a group that I actually have, I think 5 people that started coming into it before it was even formed. And it would come up, say, in their session or in a conversation, and it was like, wow, this is coming together. This needs to happen. Well, I understood more when I actually did the sphere and heard the words gateways of the world. And I mentioned last week very briefly that one of the women I had spoken with had this connection to the outer grids, and the outer grids now coming down and building into sort of like the other side of the 5D. We've opened from 3D up, and we've been moving through that gateway and really focused on that 0-point gateway. That's been the main focus of all of our work in the last 2 years, is getting that gateway open, fully functioning, operational. Like, we can create in 5D now, we can be in it full time. Well, now the gateways on the other side are coming in and fully connecting. And that's what that gateways of the world really indicated for me was, oh, it's all the gateways. Why are we getting so much more interconnected with all of the galactic centers? Because all those gateways are going to be open. So another little tidbit piece that I found fascinating was when I was done, I got out of my tent, and my tent is the one that I took was just screen on top, and it was so hot, no rain fly. And so I could see the stars, incredible, like being that far off grid. The depth of the stars, the depth of the sky takes on such a different level, which I know those of you that, oh, I love that big giant heart. I've not seen that before. The depth of the sky, for those of you that have been back in the backcountry, like I was just reading up on a woman from here in Reno that's working on the Pacific Crest Trail. And I know, having been up there and been on the Tahoe Rim Trail and parts of the Pacific Crest Trail, the John Muir Trail, that you get so far off grid and the sky just has this depth to it that goes and goes and goes, and you realize how many systems are out there that we can't even see, right? And so many, like even in Reno, when I can see stars, I always go to Orion. The first night in my tent, there was the Big Dipper. But beyond that, there's not always a lot of depth to it. Well, I got out of the tent, and the first and only thing I could actually see was the Pleiades and the whole grouping right there. And I was like, wow. Right after anchoring that sphere, so the new quantum flight sphere, anchored it and come out, and I'm on the land with all this heart energy, and here's the Pleiades, and it made so much sense with the other parts of the alignment that happened in the sphere. And here we are, the Pleiadians still on the wall that we talked about last week. And I feel like that is, so the Pleiades, if you guys aren't aware, holds a 7th, 8th, and 9th dimensional bandwidth. There's 3 bandwidths within it, within the triangulation of all 9 stars. There are 9 stars in the Pleiadian system. So there's 3 trines. There's a 7th dimensional, 8th dimensional, and 9th dimensional with power, love, and wisdom. And they all align, and they also align in their power trine, a wisdom trine, and a love trine, besides the dimensional trines. So in the middle of that is our timepiece mechanism. It's the gateway to this aspect of the dimensional plane. So from 8D down, these are the gateways of the world that are going to be open. So the Pleiadians are going to be working with us very closely to be accessing, opening, enhancing, connecting to all that interconnection stuff. I'm super excited to just have that realization. And so that really spoke to my heart as well. The other piece that I found fascinating, this whole weekend was so divinely orchestrated. And all of it happened within about, let's see, less than 60 hours, like 2 full days and a half day. And a lot of that was driving, like literally 8 hours of driving each way. So on the way back, I chose to take a different route, which is Old Highway 50. This is the loneliest route in America, if you look it up, and it runs from Great Basin National Park through Ely, Nevada, and all the way to Fallon, and then out to Reno. So from Fallon to Great Basin, this Highway 50 is definitely a lonely stretch. And Nevada is known for, I think it's the highest number of mountain ranges possibly in, could I say in the world? It's at least in the United States, the highest number of actual separate mountain ranges that are separated by valleys. They're distinct mountain ranges. They're not one big range like the Himalayas that takes over a country. You know, they're actually separate. So it could be in one geographic area the largest number in the world. I'm not going to be positive on that, but definitely in the United States. So this highway goes, and I chose to drive down instead of going all the way back I-80. I chose to go a different route and go down to Ely and across that. And because the last time I drove it, the only other time I've driven it was at night on a full moon. Definitely beautiful. And I was going up and over passes and then along long valleys and up and over pass and along valley and up and over pass. And because I was seen in the daylight, as I drove south from Wells, Nevada to Ely, Nevada, I'm looking around and I'm starting to see all the dragons in these mountain ranges. I'm like, oh, I never knew you guys were out here. So I'm starting to talk to him. And then I get to Ely and I turn, and it astounded me the number of dragons laying in the landscape of Nevada. So that was a very fun drive home. And that was the other tidbit that I wanted to share, that I've lived here in Nevada for, let's see, 2007, going on 17 years. That's the longest place I've been anywhere. And as I get out and explore more, I'm finding so many more amazing things about it and why I was drawn here. And I encourage you, why do I tell those stories? Why did I tell any of that? Yes, telling about quantum flight and the anchoring and excitement for the sphere that's building, putting that out there. And I will say, if you are feeling drawn to that, when I send a heart pulse out, that heart pulse is going to have that Chalcedony frequency under it, as well as the high heart Pleiadean. So it's going to ripple out with profound levels. And what I do is ripple that out so that everyone that's meant to be in that sphere feels that heart pulse, that call to it, and they find the information and they put their application in, and then we go from there. So if you're feeling that, you know you've been drawn to a quantum flight, but it hasn't been your time, maybe this is the one you've been waiting for, definitely send me an email. I'll get you the link to the application. I'll make a post about it this week or maybe later today as well, but find your way to it. Not just about that. It's about telling the stories of how we connect with our environment, staying connected to things. You're out digging for crystals. If the crystals want to present to you because they need to be used, they want to be in a harmonic environment with you. They want to live up to their fullest potential and be found and be used. And some need to stay in the land. Some will never be found, but others want to go home with us. So if you're out doing that, be sure you're connecting with the spirit of the land and asking, which ones want to work with us? Which ones need to be found today? And allow that to be what guides you, because that will make this absolutely magical. I will say, I have another one that's about this long, big, thick around. And it was the first one that I found. And it was because it was Saturday morning, and I went out and I said, okay, I'm connecting in and I'm just going to follow, really let you lead me. Because the first day I was sort of getting my bearings of where previous dig sites were, where the group was, getting the lay of land. It was a very hard place to dig. I'm used to digging in bigger areas where it's like, oh, just pick a spot. And it was a little more unintuitive, I guess, in the sense of, this is flat ground. How do you dig a trench? How do you dig down a flat ground? But that said, being out there following my heart, I was led, and I just stood and I said, okay, which direction? And I followed it and went, and I found a beautiful little shallow trench that had been started, or shallow pit that had been started, and felt like, yep, I need to dig near this tree. And then I asked, even in that pit, which direction do you want me to dig? And so that's how I found all of those pink pieces at the end of the day. And it's how I found in the morning this big, beautiful one that fell out. And it was like, all right, being in tune, being aligned, everything will come to you. Not just digging crystals, but in our whole life, when you really sit and stay in your heart space and are listening, the land will show up, the dragons will show up, the spirits of the land will show you what you need to find or experience there. And then you won't miss the magic, because there's so many people out there that have said, what you do is crazy, or, how do you live that way, or whatever. But what you're finding, hopefully most of you, as you've been following and listening to these videos for years, is all the times that I've talked about the magic unfolding, and that you're now doing that and finding the magic and the joy in the journey. Because when life shifts from the 3D shoulds, have tos, musts, task load, it's task load, versus the joy of being, the whole journey becomes magical. And even though, yes, there were times when I was hot, I was dusty, I was like exhausted, my muscles were like hitting a hammer through dirt and rocks all day, like it's exhausting, but I'm not sore today. I was really in joy within it, especially when you're given a gift and it's like, here I'm treasure seeking, but really I'm just opening to receive a gift. And then boy, at the end of the day, when everybody had left and I was done and I was just there with the mountain, and I was literally looking at the volcano as I went up, and I was called further up the hill to a previous dig spot that was super deep, like someone had gone 4 feet deep, and there's this big pit. And I was like, I don't want to dig in that heavy shell ash layer anymore. I haven't found anything in that. I'm not feeling that. And so I looked at the volcano and I was like, where should I dig? And I was like, you know what? Take it easy. Just start raking through the top here. The top 6 inches, I uncovered 1 piece, 2 pieces, and it was like 7 or 8 pieces, all within a very short time in a few inches of space. And it was like, just digging easy. Life becomes easy. There's a message in that. Even the volcano was trying to show me, take it easy. Just trust. Just go right here. And I felt it. It was like right to my left, right there, only in that spot. And then my brain took over and said, yeah, take this side too. Of course, nothing came up over there. Yes, the magic, you are magic that was missing on this place. Your magic, yes. Oh, I understand what you're saying. The light, the very top of the words on that comment there. Thank you. The magic heart. You are magic that was missing on this place. I do feel that. It was like, and it was very interesting too to feel the call of why I ended up being there, because I had to get my kids taken care of, right, and aligned, and to go that far and the expense of the gas alone. And you know what I found? This was amazing too. I was like, all right, I'm ready to spend this much on gas. Gas was over 70 cents a gallon cheaper all the way across eastern Nevada. I was shocked as soon as I left this area and I got outside our county, and wait a minute, why are we paying so much for gas? It was amazing. So it cost me a lot less. It was just time invested, but this big heart pull early last week of like, you need to go. You need to go. And now I'm realizing that it was not just about finding the Chalcedony, but it was about being there and feeling the call on 7-7 to anchor that new quantum flight group, as everything just has been divinely aligning. It's like, this needs to happen, and it's going to be this weekend, and whoa, it's the 7-7, and here I'm in the right place. So this is how the magic unfolds for our journey, and becoming really conscious, because as we be and we merge into ourselves, that's the whole point of my work. That's the whole point of what I do, particularly in the quantum flight program, what I've done in the way the Dragon Heart up until they had me shift the format to the 8 weeks. It's about stepping into who you be fully, aligning into that magic, into you, into expressing fully. For me, that's dragon, but as I become fully dragon, I'm actually more and more human at the same time. It's really, really weird. It was totally unexpected that the joy in being human and being in this place with all of me becomes exponential, and everything flows that much easier. So yes, there's still sticky things throughout the day and dishes that need to be done and all that, but it's a very different perspective of it. It's a very different journey of it. That's what the 5D perspective is. That's what we're shifting into. So if that brings up questions for you or things that you want to share, if you have stories of magic over the last weekend that you had, or even maybe the last month, something from the last year, please post it in the comments on this, or post it separately in the group, because we need to be sharing those. Those are the reminders to be in the magic for everybody that's getting pulled in and out of 3D to 5D to 3D. And it's very hard to come into that balance and really separate yourself from and exit fully the 3D stuff. It's possible, living testament to it, and just allow yourself to. So I think that's it for this week. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to lift our big heart love up one more time because I'm excited to go put this at my front door. But big, big love to you guys from me and my dragon heart to you, and from this beautiful being of that volcano out to you guys. So do you see that? She just used me. I can feel her grinning like all the way across Nevada. I can feel her grinning it. She just got her love shared all over the world. So that energy of that pink chalcedony that was born from her heart just went out to everybody that's going to catch this on the replay. And I tell you what, I'm in a lot of countries. That's very fun. So, and I actually had an email this morning, first official in, before I even fully announced it and affirmed it, in Japan. And I think that's very interesting too, because the conversation that I had with this beautiful woman last week is connected to her connection being in Japan, where my first trip will be. I'm going to reschedule that got canceled in 2020 to activate Fuji and that dragon heart. And that's the 13th dragon. That's the newest dragon that's in the tectonic plates that I've seen for years, and she's connected to it. So I find that also very interesting. Gateways of the world. And she's my first dragon heart anchoring and holding that space from Japan. There are no coincidences. I love this. I love my work. I love my dragon family. I'm so grateful you guys are here. And I'm going to wish you a beautiful, beautiful week. Big hugs and heart energy from the volcano and from me out to you. We'll see you sometime next week. Bye for now, everybody.